Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rob T, from What's on My Mind. Listen, we're about to start the podcast. Before we do, I just wanted to say a few words about our awesome sponsor, Metroflex Gym San Marcos. We've been pumping them like crazy on the show, and there's a reason for that. You see, it was a few years ago. It's probably about 5 or 6 years ago I first stepped into Metroflex. I got to meet the owners, Daniel and Michelle Haggerty, and let me tell you something. Just them alone makes the very reason why I go to this gym. Back at that time, I was at my heaviest at 465 pounds. Yeah, pretty heavy, I know. Anyway, I walked into the gym. I talked to Daniel and told Daniel exactly what was going on with me at the time. I had some health issues and things like that. And he wasn't interested about, the money. He was interested more in me and my health. And I will never, ever forget that. So, it's for that reason alone that I still continue to go to Metroflex. This is about 6 years ago. Now, since then, I've had, fluctuations, of course, as we all do. But the one thing that I love is that these guys don't give up on me. They don't call me a quitter. They don't press me or anything, but they definitely motivate me. If you are looking for a gym that is going to look at you and care for you like family, I'm telling you, you've got to go to Metroflex Gym San Marcos. If you're in the San Marcos area, it could be Kyle, Buda, could be New Braunfels. You're not that far away. Metroflex Gym is really not that far away. Look, the address, it's really simple. It's 2101 Clovis Barker Road, San Marcos, Texas, 78666. That's Highway 123, like you're going to Seguin. It's not that far. Okay, look, if you want more information, look them up online, www.metroflexsanmarcos.com, or give them a call, 512-878-8575. Metroflex Gym. They care for you like family, but also it is the hardcore place to get back in shape. Don't forget, Metroflex Gym. Hey, this is Rob T.
Hey, this Big Will.
The week is almost through.
And there's a lot we've thought through.
And we just want to share it with you. Some of it may be motivational.
Some inspirational.
But it will always be sensational. So sit back
and relax
and check out What's on My Mind. What's up, everybody?
Hey, what's happening, y'all?
How's it going?
It's going good for me. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. This is Rob T.
It's Big Will.
And you're listening to What's on My Mind. And it is another week, time for another podcast. And we are very excited today to be in studio. And we're just going to get right to it. We have a special guest with us today from the awesome rock, metal, hard rock, whatever you want to call it. They rock. The band called Relent, which later on we're going to give you a little sample of their music so you can check it out. But he plays bass. Yep. And he just exudes rock star when you look at those pictures.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But then when you get to know him, it's like night and day. It's crazy. It really is.
Most people are, bro. Most people are.
Well, I've known some. Anyway, but without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Bruce Gonzales in the house.
What up?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I just finished the second day of teacher in service, so it's been a long day, kind of, but
yeah,
it's all good.
Cool, man. Well, we're very happy that you drove all the way out here to join us in lovely Kyle, Texas. We really appreciate it. Looking like a ninja.
Yeah,
but
I'm a ninja.
But yeah, we get it. You got to protect yourselves. So anyway, but yeah, man, we really are. We've been looking forward to this. We've been promoting it like crazy. And we're just really excited to have you in studio. So let's just get started, man. Let's jump right into it. You are with a band called Relent, but before we get into the whole band thing, I just knocked the camera over. Anyway, before I get into the whole band thing, man, I want to know about you, the person, Bruce Gonzales, man. Where are you from? Give me some of your background, some of your history.
Yeah, so I'm from San Antonio, Texas, born and raised, as they say. Mm-hmm. I think we lived in different parts of the town, but just always been in San Antonio, and then most of my life up until high school, it's just never really left the city. Once or twice went to either the beach or up to Dallas for a Cowboys game or something. But yeah, man. So just San Antonio has just been my norm, and so still here.
Awesome.
I say
awesome.
Here, but I'm not here.
Yeah, so, I know. San Antonio.
near
San Antonio. No, I get it. So born and raised. I think I told you this last time when we actually really got to talk in person, that I just assumed you were from Dallas because of all the Dallas gear you wear.
Yeah, so I got a great affinity some would say love for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh yes.
I do believe they're God's team. So
Oh yeah, brother, you're preaching, man. You're preaching.
I can preach, but I'll try to keep it short on that. But nonetheless, I am a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. Learned that from my dad, of course. He actually had a Dallas Cowboys room. So like,
Oh
Really?
wow.
yeah, we called it the Cowboy Room. It was really
Nice.
a converted garage, but
I
it
wanted
was
one for a while.
it was painted blue and silver. He actually had now this gets a little bit borderline questionable. He had a cowboy shrine.
Oh wow.
That's what he called it. Yeah. And so he had like signed stuff and all this cool stuff. And he had like a helmet rack where he had,
Wow.
everything, like just the whole thing. And
Yeah.
so yeah, he was really into it. My brother and I will always tell the story about how he got so into the game sometimes that like, I remember him like getting real mad and he brought his fist down onto the table so
Right.
hard that some snack with ketchup on it
Yeah.
flew all the way up, and to this day, there's a ketchup mark on the ceiling of the Cowboy Room. So we look up there, we're like, oh yeah, that was that one time Dad was not happy with the
Not
Cowboys.
happy with the.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's just a little.
That must have been in the Barry
microcosm.
Switzer era.
Yes. And so, anyways,
Good
but yeah.
guess. Good guess.
I'm a fan. I think I remember that game too.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. So you gonna inherit it one day?
Yeah, so I've got my wife and I have got our own house, but I don't have a cowboy room or shrine. I do think that's a little bit
Little much.
borderline. Now,
Idolatry.
and I don't mind getting close to that border, but that's a little borderline. So
Yeah. No, I definitely can understand that.
I feel like she might end up painting it soon, but it's had its run.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about the spirit of the room. which
Yeah,
is-
right. There you go. There you go.
That's right.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And so you're not a San Antonio Spurs fan?
So growing up, I just thought basketball was boring, and then to be honest, like it's still like compared to football,
Right.
in my opinion. Though I've grown in my appreciation for it.
Right.
I tried to stretch myself because in the off season I was like, there's this void,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only so much Cowboys news in the off season, so I was like, all right.
Yeah.
So I tried to get into more of the other sports, and so I was like, might as well be consistent. Mm-hmm. I did follow the Spurs, but I wasn't diehard,
Right.
And so when I met my wife, or at the time, wife to be,
Right.
she was a fan of Dirk Nowitzki, and she was really
okay.
she wasn't necessarily she was more of a fan of players
Okay.
more than teams.
Gotcha.
But we,
Gotcha.
when we, like it says in Genesis, the man will leave his father and mother, cleave to
Right.
his wife, and they become one flesh. So
Right.
we became of one mind. That teams matter,
Gotcha.
not just players. And so,
Right.
but I did kind of adopt the Mavericks because she had a affinity for Dirk.
Right.
Got to see his twilight years, so to speak, hit the end of his career, and then the beginning of the resurgence, the rise of Luka Doncic and
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis, and so it's cool to see the coming in that we get to kind of see this new era.
That's cool.
So, anyways, it's just to be consistent.
That's
Also, when we go to visit Dallas, we can see
Yeah.
back-to-back games.
Yeah, that's
sometimes
awesome.
a triple header.
That's awesome.
Depends when the XFL is playing. So
Yeah.
They
And
just got bought out.
great news about the XFL. It ain't dead.
it ain't.
Thank God. Because
Not yet.
I was enjoying it, man.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a game and
did?
we lost. But my wife and I went up with my brother-in-law
Yeah.
and his wife, and we saw the Renegades
Yeah.
lose. But nonetheless,
Right.
so
Right.
then the team they lost to had Mikhail. Oh man, I forget his name, but he played wide receiver on the San Antonio Commanders back when we had the AAF.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So I was like on the side, and he was on our sideline. And
Right.
I went up to him, I was like, "Hey, go Commanders!" He's like, "Yeah," but while he's beating my XFL team, right? Well, anyways, this is kind of esoteric, but that's the layers of spring football that we
Right.
try to follow. So.
Right. Well, that's funny. So I got to ask, man, being that you are from San Antonio,
Yeah.
you get a lot of hate because of the fact that you're a Mavericks fan?
Yeah, I was just actually in the band group chat, talking it up with Josh about, Spurs. And
Right.
The Spurs today need the Mavericks to win. But
Yeah.
couldn't get him to admit that.
Nice. Nice.
That's great.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, and so you mentioned that you're married. How long you been married now?
Happily married. We just celebrated our 6th wedding anniversary. And, which is, I don't know if y'all follow the traditional giftings of each year. Because, the golden anniversary is like 50, I think, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So actually each year has a theme. So
Really?
Yeah, so
I never knew that.
I heard about it, but I
never knew that.
don't follow it. I just give my wife a gift every.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, here you go.
So it was our iron/candy. So I actually had two gifts.
Okay.
So I ended up welding her a 6 out of some iron nails and making her a candy brownie out of her favorite candies. So
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you still got that spark going. That's great.
yeah. Well, every year I'm like, okay, I got to get creative, and of course I enjoy it, and she enjoys it. So
Awesome, cool.
pretty
So here's the thing. I definitely want to get into the band stuff, right? Because
Right.
that's why you're here, right?
Kinda.
But yeah, kind of. But the thing is like, so especially after we talked to you that time when we're in the parking lot of the Whataburger.
which is better than In-n-Out. But
Yes, we can all agree
Yes,
to
we
that.
all agree to that.
Sorry to all our California listeners, but the truth hurts.
one's edible and one's In-n-Out. So
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
I don't know.
That's great.
That was good.
That's great.
That was good. Can I use that?
Yeah, of course. This is a hill to die upon. So
That's awesome. Anyway, no, but that time that we sat and we talked, man, just everything you talked about was just so just interesting, and totally not what one might think of. So, because let's just be real. If you go by just what your pictures show to someone that came upon your band, saw the pictures, and heard the music, there's already a mindset of what you think the person will be like, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, just looking at your pictures, you look total rock star, you look total, awesome metal dude and everything. And then to hear what like what you do for a living and the things that you're into ministry wise, it's like, bro, I was blown away by it.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about that before we really kind of get into the band, because I know the band is part of the whole ministry stuff, but I want to talk more about what you are doing, because and when we talked originally about you coming on the podcast, I love what you were talking about, what you said, because yeah, you're right, man. When you're looking at a rock band or a metal band or whatever the case may be, usually the ones that get the most attention are like the singer and the lead guitarist.
yeah.
Yep.
Because they're always the ones that
At the front of the stage.
Yeah, they're the front of the stage. You shine the light on them, and I get it, But I was like, no, man, I want to talk to you because at the very beginning when I heard about you guys got into, you were the one. Now this is not a knock on any of the other guys. You know,
yeah.
it just so happened that you were the first one I talked to, and you were so cool and have been ever
Appreciate
since. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I don't care about that. I want to talk to you.
Well, and I'll add to what you're saying right there. I remember we played this show. I don't remember where it was, but somebody came up to me after the show. They're like, "Dude, you are the band. You make that band." And I was like,
Nice.
"Oh, okay,
Nice.
Now, of course, I go all out when we play, and the rest of the guys do too.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just funny. Like my background was playing like in a Christian hardcore band, and
Yeah.
so man, it was all about energy and jumping and going wild. And so that's always been my style. And
Yeah.
So, anyways, I joke with the guys in the band, like, "Hey, don't forget, I'm the band." So,
I love it. I love it. So
and then also, everyone tries to interview the face of the band and the voice of the band, which is great, and that's something Miggy's got a great gift for, with communicating his story, and then of course what Jesus has done in all of our lives. And so, but yeah, I'm happy to get a little spotlight here. And I'll be honest, my style is more. I don't like to toot my own horn too much.
Yeah.
But if there's an opportunity, sure, as long as it's got redeeming value, talk about important things like Cowboys, Whataburger, but most importantly, Jesus Christ and His gospel.
That's right. I got to get used to this, man. This is
It's like right in your face.
So for those of y'all that don't know, we're growing as a podcast,
That's
right?
right.
We are growing as a podcast. So one of the things we're branching out to now is doing video. To where this podcast that you're listening to, you can also get it on YouTube. And on YouTube, you're going to have the video that's going to go with the audio. So this is a whole new thing. There's a camera in my face right now, and I'm trying to fight the urge to like look at it and make funny faces and stuff. So this is a trip, And then the other part of it is that the guy holding the camera is like my best friend, and we're always ragging on each other. So I got to fight that urge too. Anyway,
So he's getting great joy with that camera
he's
right in
loving
your
it.
face
He's
right
loving
now.
it. I'm assuming that later on he's probably gonna have it up my nose pretty soon. But tell us a little bit about who you are behind the band, and then we'll get to the band stuff. Like first of all, the profession thing, the fact that you are a teacher.
Yeah. So,
right?
my day job, as they say, don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't yet, right? But so I teach high school math. And like I said, that's what I was doing today. Teacher in service day. We're approaching a very unique year, starting off teaching online. Which,
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, but yeah, so I've been teaching about 10 years, rounding it around there. I taught for 2 years, and then, you know, the band I was in at the time, I was like, you know, it's always been the dream, but not in a like, not a superficial way, but in like I'd like to do that because I feel like I have a gifting in it, but I also want to do it for you know, the sake of the gospel.
Right.
And so all that being said, I did actually quit teaching for a year and focus on music. You know, no surprise, it wasn't financially tenable. And so I ended up in that season, you know, meeting my wife to be, and then also realizing I needed to get back into making money instead of not making money.
Right.
And so I got back into teaching, and I've been teaching for like about 8 years. And so, yeah, so I've been definitely in tune with the youth, so to speak, knowing the new trends and stuff. I mean, I remember when fidget spinners just came out, and I was like, oh man, it's so annoying. But I embrace it in an ironic way, so I make it fun, you know.
How many of them did you take up?
I didn't pick them up.
No.
there are battles. There's battles and there's battles, you know. But
Yeah.
for me, instead, I brought my own. And if I made it dumb and stupid, then they'd stop doing it, you know.
I got you. I got you.
That's a smart decision right there.
That is smart.
That's really
actually.
smart right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The old guy's doing it, you know. So
Yeah. So let's not do it.
Oh wait, now you guys are doing it. I'm done. I'm done.
I'm done. But anyways, yeah. So teaching math, mostly geometry. I've taught algebra 1, algebraic reasoning, and math models. So taught various, you know, math subjects, not the higher level, and not. I did pre-AP once.
Right.
Kind of an honors class. But yeah, it's been mostly actually with mainstream special ed, and so you know I have a lot of students with unique needs, individualized education plans, and so that's been cool. It's been challenging, but it's also been cool to meet them where they're at and try to teach them something important.
Right.
You know, and usually it's like I tell people I'm in the business of selling something no one wants. You know,
That's a good point. That's a very good
my
point.
constituency doesn't want it, but I got to sell it, you know, and it's obviously not selling it, but I'm trying to make it something that they understand that I'm with you. I'm on your team.
Right.
I'm not the enemy. The enemy is, okay, if you want to call it that, passing or,
Right.
or achieving this goal. I'm all about goal setting. I'm like, I'm here to help you achieve your goals.
Your
So-
turn, Will.
I see that.
So, I'm assuming as a teacher, you've had to have the problem kids. I'm curious, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I got stories, but yeah, no, I've been cussed at. I've been pushed. I've been, you know, just all types of stuff. You know?
Right.
And you know, there's times where I don't act in the flesh, so to speak, and I don't de-escalate. Sometimes, you know, it's just like you're like, man, I'm being so disrespected, and you just want to say something back.
Right.
But it's been a learning process to really understand that it's more than just taking the high road, but it's about like you're the adult. It's not that they don't know what they're doing, but it's essentially trolling. So when you give into it, when you react, you're playing into it, you know. So obviously there's got to be a level of discipline, a level of keeping order, but then there's also like not everything is, you know, there's again, it's picking your battles.
Right.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, that's cool. So I gotta ask. I mean, we're talking about you being a teacher. Do your students know that you're in a rock band? In a rock band?
So
They have to ask questions with the hair, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they I don't think I'm cool enough for them to really care, to be honest. Like, because there's been times where like a student's found out and they're like, they shrug. But then there's been other times where a student has found out and then they follow the band, and that's actually opened up opportunities to kind of you know, have important conversations, and they've opened up in certain ways. Of course, nothing inappropriate.
Right.
And it's been cool to kind of let the band from afar minister to them instead of me directly, because that's not something that I necessarily can do,
Right.
and wouldn't do
In a school setting.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's a line, and so it's about, you know, honoring God first and foremost by doing my job first and foremost. You know, not neglecting the teaching of math for my own personal desire to really teach what I think is far more important,
Right.
the gospel.
Right.
So, but that's how I honor God. It's following through with what I've, you know, set out to teach. And when opportunities present themselves, great, you know. but it's all in His plan, and I'm just trying to be faithful.
That's awesome.
That's my big focus, being faithful.
That's awesome. So before we get into the music part of it, you have other ministry things or avenues that you do. You have your own ministry that you told us about that is phenomenal, just from what you described.
Thank you.
And I'm excited about being able to sow a seed into that here really soon.
Thank you.
Got to get the whole house thing done first, but then after that, but then after that, I definitely, because everything that you were talking about, it's like you're dipping into so many needs that need to be done. And I think as Christians, sometimes especially on social media, you get on social media, you put your voice out there, like, this is not right, and this is this, and this is that, but you're taking it a step further and actually doing something about it, be it, it may not seem a lot to some people, but at least you're doing something, and you're not just sitting on your couch being a keyboard jockey about something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you were, I know I didn't say this to you last time, but I'll tell you now, when you were talking about that, especially when you talked about the abortion clinic thing, bro, I
that
just
touched me a lot.
Yeah, I had a whole. I mean, I respected you to begin with, but the respect went higher after that. I just really, really respect that. I really admire that, and it's very inspiring too. To hear that. So please share a little bit about it. Don't give the PowerPoint version, because we don't have that kind of time.
I know. Yeah, no. So the condensed version for sure. So at the beginning of the year, we started officially a ministry called Unchained Ministries, which the name is taken from 2 Timothy 2:8-9. And which says, "Remember Jesus Christ, risen from the dead, descendant of David, according to my gospel, for which I suffer to the point of being chained like a criminal. But the word of God is not chained," or that Greek phrase "udeo" means not chained or, or unchained. So
Micah says, "Relax, you're gonna shake your leg off."
I'm all about the ghost leg. And I don't know if I learned it, if it's genetic, or I learned it from my dad. But he was just like always like, blah, blah, blah. As long as it's not picked, as long as you don't hear it, that's what matters.
Good. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, had to say it.
Which, speaking of nervousness, like, before we play, sometimes I'll be like, "Oh man, I'm kind of nervous." I'm like, I never even think about that. Like, it's mainly because, like, for me, it's just hair flying everywhere and whatever.
Yeah.
So like, I don't even see, when I'm at shows, I'm like, I don't even know what happened, because I'm just too, my head's going everywhere.
Right.
So, but anyways, yeah, man. So all of that. Now I'm all self-conscious about my legs. So anyways, so what was it? Where was I? So anyways, yeah. Out of 2 Timothy 2:8-9, you get the idea that the word of God is not chained or unchained. And so it's it can be kind of it could be taken the wrong way, where some people think like, oh, God's here to free us from our chains and our bondage. In a sense,
right?
Spiritually speaking, we're slaves to sin. We are unable to do the will of God. We are, the heart of man is deceitfully wicked and desperately sick. Who can understand it? As it says in Jeremiah 17:9. So all that to say, that's our state. And so in a sense, we do need to be unchained from the shackles of sin,
right,
as a lifestyle. But ironically, what do? We become slaves to righteousness.
So
that's what it says in Romans. But all that to say, it's actually about the word of God, the gospel, the proclamation of the good news that Jesus Christ has lived the perfect life, his active obedience, that he lived the life that we should have lived, and that he died the death that we deserved in his passive obedience. And in his fulfilling of the law and his dying in our place, that sacrificial death, for those who would believe, they would have that eternal life promised, that they would be part of God's in his presence for all eternity.
Amen.
And man, that's the good news, and that good news is unchained. It can go anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Obviously, we see that in the book of Acts. Recently doing a study with Miggy and the pastor of his church. We went through Acts. We're studying that as a band as well. But he went on all these missionary journeys, and he was not bound, even though literally he was bound.
Right.
The word of God was not bound, and and so that's the idea of the ministry. And so you already alluded to some of it, but basically since 2015, I graduated from seminary, and I've just been doing various things. I would see a need or an opportunity, and God's call in my life has been faithfulness. And so I'd see it. It would be prayerfully, and it would be me figuring out how do I do that, and finding ways, finding avenues, getting connected with the right people, and then seizing those opportunities. And so just to kind of do a list, because each of these I could really expand on. But I've been active in ministry on the campus I teach at. So we have what's called I Am Second groups, where they're student-led groups, where the students are able to have a safe place to talk about the gospel and the word and worship. And there's been some really cool fruit of that, students getting into evangelism. Just this past Saturday, I was with a student, with his parents' permission. We were just going door to door, talking to people about Jesus and training him on how to share his faith.
That's awesome.
We've been doing ministry at the jail in BCSO, the Bexar County Jail, sharing Jesus there. We had a discipleship class every week, before COVID-19.
Pre-COVID.
That's PC.
Yeah. Not BC, but PC.
So anyways, but yeah, so that was a great opportunity to teach guys the faith, the Bible, and to equip them to do evangelism themselves. Was doing ministry out at the Roy Moss Youth Alternative Center, which is similar to like an orphanage idea. It's really more like a group home, kind of ministering to these kids, playing sports with them, investing in their lives, showing them that someone cares outside of people that are required to be there, and also giving them the word, giving them a devotional, exposing them to the truths of God, and that's been really cool. Been doing missions and outreach and evangelism, specifically to cult groups, specifically the LDS Church, Mormonism. Love them with all my heart. They're great people, and they're not all the same, so it's not monolithic. But it's been engaging with Mormon missionaries and the Mormon people out in Utah, doing mission trips every year. This year, obviously, that
a little different.
A little different. So, but I've been able to engage with some LDS ministries over Zoom recently, and that's been fun. So, and so another thing, and you already alluded to it, is out at the abortion clinic. It's a unique ministry because some people, it might rub them the wrong way, like, oh, you're out there yelling at people, or you're out there just making people feel uncomfortable and all that stuff. But I like to, when I describe what we do out there, it's kind of threefold. First of all, we expose lies, right?
Yeah.
So we really tell the truth about what abortion is, what God's law says about it. And so we don't shy away from the truth, right?
Right.
So the truth is that, abortion is murder, and God is holy, and there's judgment coming. And that's the truth for anyone. We're all sinners in God's sight apart from him. We all have hate in our heart, which is just like murder. So we're all murderers in God's sight,
Very true.
And that's something we glean from the Sermon on the Mount. So all that to say, we bring the law to bear, and the law brings condemnation. We're not bringing condemnation by saying you are evil and you are wrong and we are better than you. We are preaching the law of God, which condemns all men. And so then we bring the second thing is the truth about the gospel and the truth about life, right? So life begins at conception, because at conception you have unique DNA with unique life growing and developing on the mother, and that life, because we are made in God's image, is worthy of, first of all, that life has dignity and value and is worthy of that chance at life.
Exactly.
And so to end that life would be murder, And so we don't shy away from the truth, and we also we uphold what the gospel of Jesus Christ is. We talk about Jesus, we talk about repentance, we talk about that they need to turn to Jesus.
Right.
And because we know it's a sin issue, it's a heart issue. It's not just about the facts. It's not like we're here rationally thinking. This is a very emotional time, because obviously this pregnancy was unplanned, and then you have this idea that this is a solution.
Right.
And so the third part about this, and this is where it's very important for my wife and I, because this is a passion of ours, is that we really want to save a baby from this clinic that we go to, because we want the mother to choose life and to understand that we would love to adopt their baby. And so that's a big ministry of ours, that we are there with a sign, not only just holding a sign, but communicating it to them that you do not have to do this. Here's the facts. Mm-hmm. We want to come alongside you and support you, and we would love to adopt your child.
Wow.
And so our passion and the focus of that is at that clinic in that circumstance, And so it's, people have said, oh, well, what about agencies and what about this or that? And we're like, well, that's not what's on our heart, is this place and this need.
Right.
And so I think everyone who goes into that clinic, they're already without excuse. But we've added that extra layer that Christians were here, being the body of Christ, being God's hands and feet, so to speak, of the hands and feet of Jesus here to serve you and say, we will do everything to help you and assist you in not committing this act. So,
right.
And it's out of love. It is, if you love somebody, you'll tell them the truth.
Very true.
You'll expose the lies, and you'll offer assistance, and that's what we're doing. And so it's gospel centered, and that's in stark contrast to some other methodologies of people that are there.
Course.
And not to get too deep in the weeds on that, but that's our focus.
And that's awesome because you're definitely showing love to a demographic of young ladies that need that, because they're at a time, like you said, it's a very emotional, very stressful time, and they need to be loved, and that's for sure. We're going to take a really quick break to just have a commercial or two, and then we're going to come right back with a little bit more about what you do. So we'll be right back with more with Bruce.
Are you looking for your own custom shirt design? Maybe you have an idea for an awesome cap that no one else has, and maybe you think you just don't have enough money to get it to happen? Well, look no further. Call CJ Design. That's right, we're talking custom shirts, caps, stickers, and decals. High quality at a low price guarantee. Maybe you have a youth group, church function, family reunions, work events. Doesn't matter. Call CJ Design for your own specific high quality design merchandise. Call or text at 737-202-8331. That's 737-202-8331. CJ Design, and make sure you ask for Juan.
Do you suffer from problems with your skin? Maybe you have acne, rosacea, or you just want to have a younger and healthier look? Then Chic Boutique is the place for you. Chic Boutique prides themselves on being a corrective skincare clinic. They offer cutting-edge technologies, as well as their own professional product line. Your skincare goals will be reached quickly and effectively without being invasive or using toxic chemicals to achieve the results you desire. They offer customized facials, advanced skincare treatments, and so much more. They also specialize in permanent makeup and body treatments. Give them a call at 830-556-0815. That's 830-556-0815. Stop by and talk to them in person at 2115 Stevens Place, Suite 1010, New Braunfels, Texas 78130. You can also find them online at www.chicboutique.org. That's www.chicboutique.org. And guys, don't feel left out. There is a treatment for you too. Don't knock it till you try it. Start your skin journey today by calling Chic Boutique.
Starting a business can be very challenging. Man, starting anything can be challenging, even a podcast. When we started our podcast, we had a lot of hurdles we had to go through. But I tell you what, Will and I are so thankful to have an awesome team of people helping us along the way. And one of those people, well, actually one of part of the team, is Blue Orchid Design Company. They helped us out with an awesome logo, and you guys have seen it every week when you listen to our podcast. They do web design, graphic design, esports logos, business logo creation, product mock-ups, and business consultation. You got to contact them today. For more information, go to goorchid.com. You can also find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Blue Orchid Design Company. This is the team that Big Will and Rob T trust. Give them a call today. All right, we're back here on What's on My Mind. Before we continue with Bruce, I didn't mean to do that, Bruce, I'm sorry. I'm over here blinding him with my camera. I was trying to switch it around. I wanted to say a quick little message to let you know this next segment is sponsored by one of our sponsors, which is Collector University. And as you can see, I have here the Funko Pop that I got from Collector University. Man, they've got some awesome hauls right now, and if you want to see these hauls, you need to go find them on Facebook, on Instagram, and just search Collector University. Professor J is racking them in. He's got tons of stuff on there. And listen, anytime you order something from them, like I ordered this beautiful thing, it's a light up Darth Vader Funko. I know it's hard to see with the box, but I got an extra gift, and they do that over there at Collector University. This was my extra gift. Check it out. Little Hulk Hogan, man. Yes, this is awesome stuff. So he's got some merchandise he needs to move, so you guys need to go check it out. You can also find him on eBay. That's where he sells his stuff, and that's Collector University. Professor J is the man. He will hook you up. So also our sponsor, Silver Spoon, over in New Braunfels, Silver Spoon Dinner Theater. You can't go wrong for date nights. You need to go check out Silver Spoon. For more information, call them at 210-865-3711 or go online at silverspoon.com, SYLVER spoon.com. They are located at the Texas Ski Ranch upstairs, 6700 North I-35, New Braunfels, Texas. That's Silver Spoon. All right, so continuing our discussion, we are here with Bruce Gonzales from the band Relent, and he just got through, and I'm blinding you again, I'm sorry. He just got through talking to us a little bit about the ministry that he's doing, Unchained Ministries, and all the aspects of it and this stuff that he does, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend you do a search, or we'll even post up later on the link to the webpage and whatnot, and maybe we get some people out there to put seed into your ministry, man. And maybe we can't do the things that you do, but we can definitely plant a seed and help you to continue doing what you do.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. So, but let's get down to the nitty gritty, as Nacho Libre would say.
So just to wrap up some of the stuff
go for it, man.
that Unchained does. And so the other part is, by God's grace, through the seminary education, I've been able to do some teaching gigs here and there at churches, my church and other churches, and that's been a great service to glorify God with that. I don't know it all. I don't even know most of it or a lot of it, so to speak. But what God has blessed me with, I've been able to teach, and that's my profession. I do also think it's my spiritual gifting as well. And then last but not least, obviously, is Relent. We've had great opportunities to get Bibles in people's hands, share our testimonies, share the gospel, and see lives changed. And there's so much going on that we don't see. Sometimes it just trickles in with messages like, oh man, this has really impacted me. This has really been important. And so Unchained Ministries has been a great way to kind of help Relent push the ministry aspect. And you talk about sowing in, and so since Unchained Ministry has started at the beginning of the year, it is a nonprofit underneath Time for Christ Ministries, and they have different ministries underneath them, like the jail chaplain. They do medical missions, they do church planning, homeless ministry, all this stuff. And so Unchained Ministries is just underneath that umbrella. And we have a board, and that's underneath another board. So long story short, we it's a nonprofit, and so we're
NFL.
You lost your camera there. But long story short, we are trying to raise funds to be so I can be fully sent to be doing full-time ministry. And so to get more information, because I'd love to explain more to anybody who has any interest in it at all. If you want to know anything about it, you can contact me through the website. It's unchainedmin.com. So that's unchainedmin.com. There's all the information's on there. I'd love to talk with you more about anything. Just let me know. But that's
awesome,
the short
man.
version.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I encourage everyone listening to definitely check them out. Now, you've already touched on it, so let's go there, man. Relent. So I'll start off by saying when I first heard about you guys was from Becoming Sons.
Okay.
And awesome group of guys, as you know.
Yeah.
Great band as well. And they were the ones that turned me on to you guys. And man, when I turned your music on, I was so pleasantly surprised and amazed, because I'm a huge fan of that late 90s, new metal, kind of do the hip hop with the rock. I'm a huge fan of it. As a matter of fact, the band that I'm in, Judge Not, back in my early days of Judge Not, we did a little bit of that. And I was the guy that did all the rap lyrics and stuff like that. So
good days.
That was a long time ago. Anyway, but yeah, so when I heard it, oh man, I was just like, yes. And the music just jams, bro. I mean, it is just amazing stuff. And then I found y'all's video for Rise on YouTube, which was great. I gotta say, when I saw Rise, I love the video, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I was like, I saw Miggy, and I'm just like, these guys look like they could be my cousins. You know what I'm saying? It's like these Mexicans are probably related to me.
Family, baby, family. Music's family business.
Yeah, what are we? Flores, Sanchez, Gonzales, Castillo. Yeah,
We all probably related somehow, right? Anyway, but yes, man, so heavy. But your lyrics, oh my God, lyrics are amazing. Let's be honest. There's a lot of Christian rock bands out there. For those that didn't see that, I put the air quotes that are out there that claim to be Christian, and honestly, their lyrics could be about anything. You know, true. But when you hear Relent's lyrics, there's no denying that you are singing about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. There is no denying it at all. So, the first question I have for you is, how did you come upon being a part of Relent?
Yeah, and so I'll say thank you so much for all that praise for the band. I can't take much credit for the writing, so to speak, because the Relent was a thing before I entered the band.
Gotcha.
And of course, Miggy writes the lyrics, so I'll say Chris and Miggy did some awesome stuff writing with, and Josh was part of that too. I'm pretty sure with and then as we wrote more stuff together, Gaston. And I had a few little cool ideas here and there, but I'm not. The basses aren't always, like you said, asked to do interviews or that cool. And I'll say that also. When we play with bands live, there's like a plague on bassists. Either when I see these bands like kind of in our scene, they're either there's no bassist, so the laptop is their bassist, right, or they'll have a fill-in bassist, which is okay, but that's not your bassist, right?
Right.
And I think the worst of all, and I won't name names, but there's a little industry secret that sometimes they'll just have somebody fake bass.
No.
I may or may not have been approached to do that as well, and I was like, I don't know. So, anyways, I'm kind of the black sheep, where I'm the bassist that mainly plays bass for the band that I play in, and that's it.
And it's like nobody cares about bassists.
Yeah, and so I'm getting all special treatment today.
Dude.
But all that to say, so how did I get into Relent? Well, actually, before I was in Relent, there's a longer history to this, but at the time that Relent started, which is I think 2016, I think Miggy started it with Chris and Josh. It was kind of something that they started after God saved them out of where they were. They were in the secular scene. Right. God woke up Miggy to the gospel, and he ended up reaching out to Chris and Josh, and they got saved, and it was great.
And so just before you continue, just so we know, because there could be some people listening that have never heard of you guys before. Yeah. So what does Miggy do in the band?
Oh yeah, so Miggy Sanchez, he's the vocalist. Okay. And so he sings and screams. And then Josh Pacquion, I actually don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So he plays guitar. Okay. Chris Castillo, he also plays guitar. So we got two guitarists. And Gaston Flores, people call him G, he plays drums.
Is it true that no one drums like Gaston?
Yeah, not that I know of.
What?
Yes. No one does.
Drums like Gaston. No, I'm just kidding.
Preach it. No kidding.
Continue.
Yes. So anyways, so yeah, those are the members. And so anyways, yeah, Relent was already playing shows, and I was in a different band called Refugee, and we were playing shows. And
Refugee, I know of. Refugee's awesome.
Yeah. Kind of the same idea or similar idea, female fronted, but still kind of got a hard rock, maybe radio friendly, maybe some new metal vibes in it.
Yeah. So check this out, dude. I got an interesting little tidbit for you.
Okay.
So I told you this last time, but I was very blessed and very fortunate to play a small part in that Refugee recording.
Oh yeah.
I did some keyboards for him, for Damien. Mm-hmm. I actually have still to this day, and listen to it quite a bit, but I have some of those fresh recordings before the female vocalist. Oh. So I actually have the songs with Damien's vocals. Oh. Now, maybe I'm in the minority. This is just me. No hate at all. Nothing bad about the female vocalist, but dude, I love Damien's vocals on that thing, bro.
Yeah.
Damien can sing, and the way he sang these songs, I prefer those anyway. So
Wow. Yeah.
I jammed those. So yeah, I happen to have those tracks
Nice.
with his vocals on them.
That's a rarity right there.
Yeah.
So, unreleased B-sides, C-sides, I don't know.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much. Now, I don't even know if he knows that because he's the one that sent them to me because I was gonna be preparing to play keys on them. And so I had to listen to him. So he sent me those rough tracks or whatever.
Nice. Yeah.
Who knows? He didn't tell me to erase them, so I still got them.
There you
If
go.
you're listening, Damien, I still listen to him, bro. So.
He's like, Rob Trevino. Who's Rob?
Oh no, he knows me. Trust me, he knows me. We actually just talked a couple weeks ago, so he knows me.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was playing with Refugee, and we actually played a show, maybe two, with Relent. And so Relent was just getting started, and so we were both like kind of just brother bands, kind
Right.
of in the scene,
Right.
trying to make our mark for for Jesus. And so yeah, Refugee, and that chapter came to a close. We actually ended on a high note. We played like an arena in Laredo
Nice.
with POD, and
Oh, that's awesome.
It was
Wow.
it was crazy. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Did you get to hang out with those guys?
I didn't. I know Gaston. I know he has, and
We're gonna be saying like that for now.
I call him Gaston. So
Yeah.
I'm enchilada. Blanco Road. Like the Anglicanized version
Yeah.
of Spanish. So
Menchaca, not menchaca.
yeah. Pinata, tortilla. The irony is that
Fajita.
yeah. The irony is that we were supposed to play Mexico in April before
Uh-huh.
PC, before
Yeah.
the COVID hit.
Yeah.
And yeah, all of us with our Hispanic heritage, none of us know Spanish, so I think our DJ does. But,
okay.
But if you don't know this, we have a DJ kind of does the scratches, so that
Right.
it's the '90s new metal vibe.
Yeah.
So he's not in Relent proper, but he is our like go-to
Right.
guy.
What's his name?
His DJ name is DJ Overcomer.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Nice.
yeah, so he's got a big ministry. He's like as a Christian DJ
Right.
doing events. He's kind of got a niche market, and he's
That's awesome.
He's really talented, great guy. We met him when we played Crusade 300. We basically played the Alamo Dome
Right.
for this big outreach there. That was really cool, playing on a big old
I
stage
remember that.
in the Alamo Dome.
I remember that.
And so, man, there's a lot of cool stories along the way that God's blessed us, given us opportunities, and along the way. So,
Real quick, so the people on Facebook are saying, "Man, can barely hear him." Yeah, it's because we're recording for a podcast, so all the vocal or the sound is going into the mic. I promise you, this will be released on Thursday, so even if you can't hear him now, you will hear him then. We just wanted to catch some video of it. That's all. So apologize for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't want to tell you to speak louder because we got the mics and
Right.
it's going to go into the mic, but
it'll
yeah.
make them want to listen.
To the podcast,
There you go.
exactly, exactly.
There you
so
go.
anyway,
Teaser.
That's right. That's right. That's how we
so
do
you
it.
got to play at the Alamo Dome on a big stage.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
That was
when that
cool.
event was coming out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I heard about that.
So to bring it back to the Refugee, that chapter came to a close, and kind of like how it is in sports world, kind of free agents.
right.
Gaston and I and our guitarist at the time, not Damien, our other guitarist,
Right.
So we actually, all three of us, temporarily, our guitarist, his name is Evan, ended up kind of, well, hey, Relent's doing stuff.
Right.
And I think they needed a drummer, so that was kind of an easy, like, hey,
Yeah.
we're friends. I play drums, so Gaston was first to go. At the time, Josh wasn't playing guitar. He ended up, obviously, he's in the band. He came back to the band.
Right.
For a season, he was out of it. So, Evan filled that role for a short time. In the end, wasn't for him. And they did have a bassist at the time, but to my recollection, I don't think he had his own gear. I don't know how well he was fulfilling his role.
Right,
that's
right.
the way I'll put it.
Right.
So anyways, but I scouted myself. I was like, hey, I'm interested in playing. I'm not here to usurp anybody's, role, but
Right.
if it opens up, let me know.
Yeah.
And so I also gave my resume, like Paul did,
Yeah, right.
because in the years past, I was running, basically managing the Christian hardcore band I was in at the time, and we were going on tours, and I was booking stuff, and I had gear and experience, and all that stuff, And again, I do not like tooting my own horn, but it was just like, hey, this is what I want to offer because I want the mission to be there. And so, I remember it was, back in 2016, no, 2017 or 2017, I think. It was like December and it was cold, but I remember sitting down with Miggy just saying, what's our goal? Are we gospel centered? Is this a ministry, so to speak?
Right.
Because if we're just quote unquote Christians or Christians in a band or just kind of making music and not being grounded and not having any type of impact for the kingdom of God, then I'm not interested. It's
that's good.
It doesn't mean it's bad or wrong. It's just like for me, if I'm going to invest my time, because it's, as you know, it's a lot of time and money and investments in various ways. It's got to be about, and the end game has to be God and His kingdom. And so,
definitely.
So that's kind of how I got into the band. Eventually, the position opened up, and we've been going ever since. And just it's been God blessing us and challenging us in many different ways over these years. It's about kind of like three years of touring. This is our third summer doing stuff. So
the sound of the band now, did they already have that new metalish sound when you came in?
Yes, they did. And so I had been in a very kind of, there's a lot of, there can be elitism when in hardcore. So like when I was in this hardcore band, it was all about like just being the purity is not the right word, but like in just having this distinct sound and being old school or whatever.
Yeah, if you're gonna be hardcore, you're gonna be hardcore,
or being novel or paving a new path or whatever. But, so I was in this like very subculture mindset, very like you don't think like few bands are terror or whatever, like that, or like maybe the Ghost Inside that are successful in that anyways. So, but I was like, with Refugee, I was like, all right, I'm down to do something more mainstream or
more commercial.
Yeah, more commercial. I mean, just like to actually reach a wider audience,
For sure.
So I did my like, okay, let's get the real subculture stuff, and so obviously it is still, but we were going for the so that kind of was a on-ramp to Relent, where I was like, okay, well, yeah, this is kind of, I always thought like they have a great product. I remember when I first joined the band, we had 500 likes on Facebook, and I'm not a social media guru, but I was like, not only do I want to play in your band, but I want to help, like, let's
grow this.
Let's grow. Yeah. And so
you're going to be in all the way.
I think we're like tenfold more than when I joined the band. So like, and that's, God's grace and blessings and a lot of, just putting in the time and effort to promote and get stuff out there. And so,
well, I know on your fan page, you're almost up at 1,000. You haven't been up a week yet. Yeah. Right.
That's crazy. Yeah. And so, by the way, if you're listening to this and you haven't joined our official fan group, it's on Facebook.
Yep.
It's I think it's.
You'll make me look it up, aren't you?
No, I was going to say I think you can just search for it and find it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like super secret, but
no, it's not.
But it is a closed group, I think. So just join and you'll get cool stuff.
Yeah.
No promises.
It's a Relent official fan group. It's a private group. Right now, you're at 730 members, so you're almost at 1,000.
Yeah, we're shooting for 1,000. Yeah, maybe something will happen, like fireworks or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens, right? So that's awesome. So the other thing is, I think it was the other day. It might have been on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Gaston was doing a live video on Facebook.
Yeah,
and he mentioned that you guys are going to be, or maybe you already have recorded your latest single, "Low." Right. First of all, I got to say it's a great song. My opinion, it's not better than "Surrendered," but that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah.
But you're also having airplay like on Octane Radio and Sirius XM, right?
Right. Yeah. So we've actually got some FM radio play in different places. It's all kind of like grassroots. It's like people requesting us, and that's gotten us, some charting, which has been really cool. Like we peaked, and I'm not saying we peaked, but so far peaked at number 2 on certain Christian rock charts.
Yeah, so how's it feel being beaten by some girls?
I know, right? Yeah.
GFM's the number 1 spot.
Yeah, they're number 1. Yeah. So we give credit where credit's due. They're
awesome, man.
They're great. Yeah.
They're one of the Christian metal bands out there that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Them. You guys, Becoming Sons is another one that I really enjoy.
Good guys.
Seventh Day Slumber, although I wouldn't call Seventh Day Slumber metal.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but I do like listening to them.
Yeah.
But above all those is Striper, but that's just, you know,
Striper,
me.
man. Heck
Old
yeah.
school. You know?
I love doing Striper karaoke.
Nice. I'd pay to see that, bro.
Belt it out. Oh, dude, you don't have to pay me to do karaoke if you know me.
That's awesome.
So yeah, when we go on tour, I always I have a karaoke like type machine.
Really?
And we stop somewhere, and it's just like, let's get it going.
Man, I hope I can go on tour with you one day. I just want to see that.
It could be a local show. We'll just do
awesome.
it there. So.
That's awesome. So going back to what I was saying, you guys. So what Gaston said on the live feed was basically that you guys recorded a Spanish version of Low.
Yeah. Well, and so just commentary on Low. So we independently put out a album called Heart Attack.
Right.
We signed with Rockfest Records recently, and they re-released it with 2 new songs that were not on the original. One of them was our cover of DC Talk's Jesus Freak.
Yeah.
Which is the ultimate new metal song. Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
Hey, you know what? I think that version is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Me and Rob had a private conversation about that. That I'm not allowed to mention in this room right now.
You had to bring it up, dude. You had to bring it up. So I'm gonna go on record. You know I love you, man.
Oh, yeah.
I love you to death, and I love Relent to death.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Me personally, I think Becoming Sons version is better. That's
Okay.
just me. That's just me. I'm just saying. That's all.
I never heard their version. I've heard Valent's
But in
version,
all fairness-
and I really do like Valent's
yeah,
version.
everyone needs to check out the Becoming Sons version.
Yeah. In all fairness, though, you guys have recorded it. I don't think they have.
Right.
Is the thing. So
yeah, I don't know if they did, but I know they started playing it live first, and that was crazy because we're like, they're playing it, and we're like, man, we've been talking about this for years, and we already recorded it, but they're playing it already, and so it was like a whoops, but it's like
okay.
but it's like no, it's
There and here's the thing. No, don't get me wrong. Y'all's version is awesome. It really is. It's really cool. But it's funny because they are both different.
Very different. Yeah,
they're very different.
Yeah.
They're night and day.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's the same song.
Right.
But yeah, they are very night and day.
And so that's not the first time something has looked like funny like that.
Yeah.
So like this was also unintentional.
Right.
So like if you've seen our Rise video.
Yes.
If you are familiar with another metal band from San Antonio with Christian themes,
Right.
Darkness Divided.
Right.
One of their music videos is fire and
Similar
and a
to what
torch.
y'all did?
No. Yeah, and we actually some people pointed that out, and it wasn't like in like with smiles on their face, but but it's like it's flattering, great minds think alike, because we literally had no like ill will or plan.
Right.
We literally were like, what would look cool? Fire's cool.
Yeah.
What do we need fire in? Okay, let's find some barrels.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we were piecing together the same video. We didn't even, the torch thing was like afterthought, like while we were there.
Right.
Let's just set a shirt on fire, put on a stick, and walk around with it. So not to diminish the video, but it was not malicious, because we just threw it together.
Yeah, man. No
And
doubt.
I'm gonna sell out Gaston, because he didn't even bring drumsticks to that music video shoot.
Oh my god!
He didn't even bring drumsticks.
What did he use?
Sticks.
The house we were at, somebody had some sticks.
Oh, he got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That is hilarious. That's hilarious.
So, but to bring it back to
I
forgot what the question was.
No, I know, right? We were talking about Low.
Oh yeah,
is what it was.
so low is a song about, obviously it's in the name. It's about more than just feeling low, but it's like all the emotions that go along with it. I like to compare it to like a lament psalm. I think it's Psalm 77, similar to that, where it's like crying out to God, and there doesn't seem to be a resolution in that one psalm, right?
Right.
But that psalm is not in isolation. The Psalter, the collection of all the psalms, you get the goodness of God and how He rescues and how and His plan. And so Low has been a great way for people to connect, Christians and non-Christians, with this feeling. But as they come to the quote unquote Psalter of Relent, they're going to hear this gospel and see guys that their lives have been changed by the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And so all that to say, our label encouraged us to record it in Espanol.
Nice.
And so that's what we did. It's
And
actually,
y'all don't speak Spanish.
and none of it, no. But we can sing a translation that we are confident has been translated correctly by others, right? And it's actually, so it's called Decaído, which that's my best accent right there.
That was good.
Which isn't a perfect translation of Low, but that's
So, decaído.
yeah, there it is.
That's it.
And I wasn't prepared to promote the song, but there is a release date somewhere. You'd have to, join our
That's
official fan
That's
group.
right. And you'll get the lowdown on it.
You will know. You'll have the Decaído.
Yeah, that's
that
right. That's
lowdown.
right. So you guys are basically the modern day Richie Valens singing in Spanish but can't speak it.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm old. I've seen La Bamba. I don't know how many times, but I know that's what happens in
Bamba,
the movie.
Selena.
Yeah,
So-
none of them speak Spanish, right?
Basically, that is our speaking in tongues. You know,
Right. Yeah,
a foreign
that's very
tongue
true.
to try
Very
to
true.
reach people with the gospel.
Yeah.
It needs an interpretation.
Yeah.
You know, so all
That's
these things.
that's very good. That's a good one right there. That's awesome. So okay, so so you guys are now caught a tour coming up, right? Like
Yes.
kind of, or
So it's gonna the tour is announced. The dates will be released soon. But yeah, it's called the Freedom to Rock Tour with Seventh Day Slumber and the Protest, our label mates.
right.
And that's the end of this month, end of August into early September. I think it's 2.5 weeks. So yeah, just stay tuned for those dates and
Cool.
more information on that.
Cool. So
Yeah.
I know you probably can't say much, but being now that you're kind of on a label that's got a little bit of notoriety to it, especially with a band like Seventh Day Slumber, who's been around for a long time, very well-known band, very awesome band.
Yeah.
I've followed them for years, and I actually can say that I've actually shared a stage with them.
Nice.
Years ago at the very first Jesus Jam Fest here out in New Braunfels, we shared a stage with Seventh Day Slumber, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
So having that, is there like what us musicians, because we're all musicians here in the room, right? We all have that ultimate dream of playing in front of thousands of people, right? You know,
Yeah.
that's what we all want to do.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that's like that coming up, like maybe a European tour, maybe, or something like that? Do y'all have anything like that coming up, or you just don't know yet?
Yeah, I mean, so before we even were signed, we had plans for that. We were going to play in Germany.
Nice.
The name of the fest escapes me right now.
Not Vakken, is it?
No,
No, I don't think they would allow you at Vakken. Now that I think about it, never
No,
mind.
that'd be cool one day, you know. But yeah, no, it's gonna hit me here in a second. But it's this big. It's this big fest in Germany. It's gonna be something similar to that. Yeah. And so, yeah, man. But that again, COVID. So
Yeah, COVID's messed everything up.
But as
you know.
for like future plans that are set in stone, the only thing is just that one tour is in the works, and then another thing that Gaston announced was that we're playing End of Days Fest coming up in October, and we'll see about playing some of the other dates, but it's with Saliva and Ellefson.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's going to be
Nice.
at Sunset Station. Haven't seen a show there in forever, and
Right.
it's going to be cool. So
As of right now, it's still on.
right, yeah. So
Yeah, hopefully
I think it's
COVID don't mess it up.
I think it's promoted as a quote unquote protest. So I think it's
Oh, sweet. So it'll continue.
Protests are all allowed right
Yeah,
now.
I gotta tell you, man. I really gotta tip my hat to Seventh Day Slumber. They're still doing shows.
yeah.
I just saw they had one, I think, last weekend.
Yeah.
An outdoor show somewhere. I don't even know where it was. They're still doing shows.
Yep.
And Joseph, he's very outspoken about not just his beliefs in Christ, but his political beliefs and stuff
Yeah.
too. So it doesn't surprise me in the least
Right.
that he's doing that.
Yeah.
But that's awesome.
We played with them, on July 3rd, and yeah, it was at a church. Everyone was following protocols, and yeah, we were able to make it happen. So
Now, the July 3rd one, was that the one that was Becoming Sons was there too?
it was in Victoria.
Oh no, that was a different one.
Yeah, it was a different one.
Okay.
Becoming
okay.
Sons was sorry, yeah, Raj and Raj.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't the whole gang, but yeah,
Right,
that was
right.
Chains Unchained Festival in
That's the one. That's
Missouri.
the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one was pretty awesome as well.
It was great. Yeah, good time.
And I heard you guys tore it up.
Yeah, we tried to.
That's
and
awesome.
I was wearing my tracksuit,
I
channeling
saw that, and you had the face mask on.
Yes, I was trying to get the '90s new metal vibe going.
That was
so,
awesome.
Yeah,
And you kind of looking like Fieldy there. I get
trying
it.
to. Yeah, so look out for that. I hate to say outfit, or costume, right?
Right.
For that get up, because we have the video for Low in Espanol coming up. So
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I wanted to go to that show so bad, but you know how it is when you have a job.
Yes.
So you're not at that phase yet, right? Where the music has taken over as the job.
No.
Because let's be real. There's a misconception out there that when you sign to a label, that's
Yeah.
it. you know, say bye to your job, and
Right.
now you're going on world tours,
Right,
and
yeah.
you know, you're sipping the bubbly, and you're you know driving on the tour buses and stuff like that. But
Right.
that's not necessarily the case, right?
No, yeah, that's
Especially with Christian music.
yeah. Maybe back in the day,
Yeah.
but you know, and that's something. Parts of what you just said is we want to get to where it's a sustainable thing
course.
for our livelihood.
That's the dream for all of us, man.
Yeah, and it's because like if it can sustain us individually, then we can really focus into the ministry aspect more.
Exactly.
Getting the message out to more people and you know, greater excellence in our artwork, you know.
Definitely.
But we are grinding as much as we can in our free time. It's like having sometimes another second full-time job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a labor of love, and it's not for the glory of ourselves, but the
Right.
glory of the King. So yeah,
Right.
Jesus Christ.
So I have to ask, man, kind of stepping away from the whole band aspect of it, just as a married man.
Yeah.
Has this like caused any stress in your marriage?
No, like obviously there's a little sacrifice I'd say for my wife.
Of course,
you know.
of course.
But yeah, no, she supports anything I do when it comes to ministry,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, she supports me following that dream, quote unquote. You know, I say
Right.
that because I think some people, when they say that's my dream, it's like they're going all in and making all these big sacrifices, and it's for the vain glory, right? So
Right.
understood that it's for God's glory, and so she supports that, and you know, she loves me and supports that, and that's been great to have someone like her having a wife like that, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, because back almost a year ago in November, we had Josh Gonzales on the show as a guest. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Salvador, the Christian contemporary Christian Latin band. They've been around for a long time.
I've heard of them.
So Josh was actually one of the original members, one of the founders actually of the band.
Yeah.
Bass player as well. And man, he told us some stories because they actually signed with a major label back then. I think it was Word Records was the label.
Okay.
So big time label. We're talking big commercial, you know, being played on K-Love and I mean all that stuff. We're talking big time. He's toured all over the world, and it was really interesting to hear his stories about how the Christian music industry, and I want to make it clear, this was at that time.
Right.
This is not talking about now, but back at that time, all those years ago, how it wasn't very different from the secular music industry.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised by that. I was just like, really? You know, some of the, you know, vices and things like that crossed over to even the Christian scene. It's just like the music business is the music business. But
Yeah.
I do know that being that this is a label, because this is Joseph's label, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Being that he's the head of that label, I know he's about ministry, man.
Yeah.
I followed him enough to know that he's about winning souls. He's about getting the gospel out. And just hearing you talk about your ministry and everything, I think that was like the perfect label for you guys to be a part of, for sure.
We're really blessed and fortunate to be partnering with Rockfest Records, and so there's definitely a business aspect to it,
Of course.
so it's and so I know some people have felt burned. I know with my old band back in the day, the hardcore band I was in,
Right.
we didn't, there were some label disagreements, and
Right.
in the end, like you abide by your contract, you
Right.
know, and sometimes it feels wrong, sometimes it feels, a certain way, but we're trying to honor what we've signed, and so it's about getting it right from that get-go.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
then honoring it from there. So
Awesome. So check it. We need to take a second break.
Okay.
To do a little bit more. We got a couple more commercials to air for our sponsors.
All right.
We're very fortunate. We've just acquired another sponsor that in the next couple of weeks will be airing their commercial. We're not ready to name them just yet, but I just happened to come across this sponsor by accident, and it was quite the awesome thing to do, so I can't wait to actually mention them. But for now, we're going to give you a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. When we come back, Bruce, let's answer some of those questions we got off of social media.
Okay, sounds good.
So we'll be right back with more with Bruce Gonzales after these messages.
Brake shoes, brake pads, drums, rollers, brake fluid, brake clean, brake hardware, a flush, and a shop fee. I wish there was a place I could take my car to that didn't cost me an arm and a leg.
Well, now there is.
Welcome to GA Automotive and Tire, where you can get a brake job for only $199 on most vehicles. That's a complete brake job with brake pads and rotors resurfaced. Located at 4431 Luxinger Lane, Austin, Texas, 78745. For service and prices so good that you'd recommend your family, simply call GA Automotive and Tire. Just dial 512-444-7005. That's 512-444-7005. GA Automotive and Tire.
Are you wanting to grow your business on social media in 2020, but you don't know where to start? Maybe you want to reach a bigger audience or build a following, but you've hit a wall and you want to find how to take your business to that next level? If you need help figuring out how often you need to post, when to post, what to say, and how to schedule your content, then contact Enid Jones, the Social Mermaid. Enid is a professional photographer and social media strategist who will help you move your business forward into 2020 with a practical and realistic approach for growth. For testimonials, reviews, and more, find her on Facebook under Enid Jones Photography or Instagram at pix.by.enid. That's pix.by.enid. You can also check out What's on My Mind's very own Facebook and Instagram pages to see Enid's work in action. That's right, we are proud customers of the Social Mermaid and have already seen amazing results. Connect with Enid today so she can do the same for you.
Do you own your own business? Are you looking for a platform where you can advertise and just get more people to come through your door? Well, look no further than the What's on My Mind podcast. In case you didn't know, What's on My Mind podcast is probably one of the fastest growing podcasts out there today. Our audience is not just local, but worldwide. Our numbers in the local market seem to go up every single week. These are people that can be walking in through the doors of your establishment. All you have to do is contact us at wommpodcast@gmail.com. That's wommpodcast@gmail.com. Use our platform as your platform to get your business out there for people to notice you. Again, contact us at wommpodcast@gmail.com. All you got to do is contact us. We'll contact you back, and we will make this thing happen. Help us to help you. What's on My Mind podcast? That's the place to do your advertising to get your business out there. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Hey, are you a super fan of the What's on My Mind podcast? Are you ready to show it off? Well, now you can, because we've got official merchandise. You need a t-shirt so that your friends can know who you listen to? All you got to do is contact us, wommpodcast@gmail.com. We got shirts, we got cups, we got stickers, all for you. So anyway, what we're going to do now is if you followed us on social media, we all you need to quit.
What is he doing?
Nothing. We all posted that if you had questions for Bruce, you needed to put them on there, and we would ask them. So I actually got a list of questions that, because you posted up as well on the fan page, and so we did get a list of questions. So we're gonna ask you those questions, but first I want you to go ahead and address the question about this whole milk, this whole drinky milk thing.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, what was all that about?
So I'll keep this short and sweet.
Okay, sounds good.
Because the way the question was framed, asking why our greatest fan is required to do a milk challenge.
Right.
The truth is, you are not our greatest fan unless you do
okay.
the milk challenge. But long story short, 2 years ago, playing that same festival, Chains Unchained.
Right.
His name is Paul Portel. He has a Facebook group called Holy Metal Underground. Now it's what it's called.
I think I'm on that.
It used to be called Legacy. But anyways, he at the time he interviewed us and he ended up
the ice cream man again.
I think so.
It's prophetic. No, but, so anyways,
brother.
That's funny. But so anyways, he interviewed us, and then I think it was either that year or the next year, he ended up by himself going Facebook Live, eating like a ghost pepper.
Oh wow!
And so we're just like watching it, laughing because he's just like sweating and like Now, I have no beef with Paul. I'm not
Right.
like, oh yeah, well I want to do it. I've never said
Right.
I can do better than you.
Right.
But I was like, look, and he would go live and do these various other challenges, like the Bean Boozled challenge.
Oh yes, I've seen
He did
that.
some challenge where he was eating the condiments at a gas station or
Oh my
something.
god.
He did the Pecky,
That chip, right?
chip,
that
yeah.
hot chip.
Oh, yeah.
I,
I've seen that one.
think he did that. I don't know. Well, anyways, he's all about these challenges, right?
Right.
So I'm like, dude, you need to do the milk challenge. That's the next one.
Right.
And he's like, no, I don't. And so he ended up not liking the idea, and I was like, okay, well I just kept like messing with him, like you need to do it. But then he tries to turn around like, well, you're a wuss because you didn't do the ghost pepper challenge. I'm like, okay, but I'm not running for office for challenges. I'm not competing with you. I'm just saying, if you want to be cool, and if you want to be Relent's #1 fan, then you got to do the milk challenge. You got to chug a whole gallon of milk, And of course, we have fun with him when we play,
Yeah.
And but I'm just saying, until he does that, he can't be #1 fan.
That's gonna be like the running gag. He's gonna be at a show, have a gallon of milk on stage, just
And
ready.
so, yeah, at Chains Unchained, we were hanging out, and the fridge near us had a gallon of milk. I set it down next to him. I'm like, let's go, dude. But no, he didn't. You want to do it?
That's
But
hilarious.
Instead, I got him with we had smelling salts. Which,
Nice.
If you know what those are,
Yes, of
they're,
course.
They're not illegal or drugs. They're just
Right.
they just like.
They're really strong.
If you've
Yeah.
seen like sports players, like when they get hit in the head, they're like, "Well, what's going on?" They get disoriented. They like break these things in front of their face. And
Yep.
it's a sensory overload of smell.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was showing the guys in the band, hey, check this out, smell this, and they're like, oh my gosh, what? it gets you hyped. You're like, I can do anything now. So anyway, that was what we did with
That's
Paul
funny.
this last time. And
That's funny. All right, so we'll go with the first question. This is from Sarah Lee. It says, why are you friends with Josh?
now, Sarah Lee, she's most notorious for telling Josh that he has cool pics.
Okay.
That's her shtick. So,
Yeah.
So anyways, and which I find humorous as well. So
Right.
I love Josh. Actually, I was in a band with Josh before I was really friends with Josh because,
Right.
I got to know these guys once I was in a band with them. Like for me, the most important thing is, okay, where's your faith? And then like, we'll work out the details,
Right.
Cause when you're in a band together, it's like a family, Of
course,
And
literally.
so I'm friends with Josh because of the band, so to speak, but like I've really grown close to him. We cut up, we talk about Cowboys all the time, big Cowboys fans. We may not see eye to eye on the NBA, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
And and then of course me and him play Fortnite a lot, so just
Fortnite.
I know that's
You just got John excited.
You're a Fortniter? Ah.
and if you
I
want
don't
to play
do
with us,
Fortnite.
let us know.
Cool.
It'll be fun. So anyways, yeah. So why am I friends with him? He's a cool guy, So maybe his siblings should have grace on him and
Right.
show him some love, So
All right. Next question is from Matt DeSosa. I hope I said that right. And he says, when can we expect new music from Relent?
yeah. And so when I said come on here and answer any question, it's to the best of my ability.
And that's one you can't answer.
And we don't have a definitive, we don't. It's not like we're sitting on an album right now. So
Gotcha,
we're
gotcha.
still in process.
Yeah, pre-production?
I will say we have some songs recorded, but
Gotcha.
yeah, we're still in process, en route to the next release.
Okay.
So, I want to say this year, but with COVID, we'll see.
Yeah, that's who
true.
knows. All right. Moving on, we got a question from Jose Corona. I don't know about that last name,
my
Jose.
gosh.
Oh my God.
No. He must be related to coronavirus.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Jose Rona. His question is, what do you think about Ohio?
Jose COVID. All right. So, so when I quit my teaching job,
Yeah.
I actually and I didn't just go full-time touring with my band.
Right.
I actually had downtime, and so I ended up filling in for this at the time Christian punk band called FBS.
Okay.
And
What did that stand for?
so if you know anything about AFI, like the letters were always the same, but the
Right.
meaning changed. Like
Right.
it was like asking for it, then it was a fire inside. So
Yeah.
FBS, I think it used to be $5 short, and then it was Fight before surrender.
Ah, okay.
But of course, you could think of other things.
Right,
So,
right.
anyways, so I have no idea if that was ever a thing, to be honest.
Gotcha.
So all that to say, but yeah. So and he was playing drums, Jose COVID Corona, and so man, that tour was full of all types of inside jokes, and we were just the actual members of the band were from Ohio.
Ah, okay.
And so anyways,
so it's kind of an inside joke.
The question.
and so especially the bassist that I was filling in for, his name is Nate. I call him Nate Breed. Anyways, he just always trashing Texas and always trashing Whataburger.
wow.
So when you trash Whataburger and Texas,
Then
it's
you,
on.
You, yeah,
fighting
you just
words right
messed
there.
up, man.
That's fighting words.
So Ohio is, I guess, one word boring, and that's it. So,
Nice.
I mean, do we need to dignify Ohio with more than that?
I don't think so. I mean,
no-
come on. You got Cleveland in Ohio, and what's their team? The Browns.
Browns.
That says it
Yeah.
all. That says it all.
So obviously, there's like Canton, Ohio. There's some cool stuff in Ohio, but it's just not Texas.
that's right.
And that's it.
If you're not Texas, it's just
It's
not
not.
cool.
It's not God's land. So
All right. Okay, moving on. Now, this question I really like, and I really want to hear the answer to this one. And this is from David McJunkin. Love the last name.
yeah.
It says, Bruce, what were the first 5 bands that got you into metal?
Okay, and so this, kind of bringing it back to the '90s new metal stuff. When I was in middle school, I was just like listening to heavy music, so it was probably 5 new metal bands that were just on the radio.
Right.
So I remember being at Target, like buying Korn's "Got the Follow the Leader." Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
so-
late 90s.
Great
So
album.
yeah, Korn
Good
Follow the
album.
Leader, Metallica and Justice for All I got that for Christmas. I was like, yeah, Metallica. What else? Limp Bizkit, Significant Other. I'll have to do another. Let's see here. I think as weird as this, Kid Rock's "Devil Without a Cause."
Dude,
yeah.
that was an awesome album, man.
I know.
Ball with the ball,
Yeah.
the bang,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, and then eventually I found something Christian-ish, so I'll make sure not to leave that out. So,
Yeah.
Project 86 was like one of the first. Sorry, POD probably.
Of course, man. Of course.
But eventually, Project 86 was really actually influential. But we're talking about
Gotcha.
first ones I heard that
Right.
kind of got me hooked. The
Right.
hook was probably those 5.
Those 5. Now, with POD, you mentioned POD. Which album was it that got you into them?
Probably, oh my gosh.
The popular one, Satellite?
Yeah, Satellite. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if Satellite was the name of it, but
Yeah, Satellite was. The Satellite is probably their best album, in my opinion. Their
yeah.
best album. Like, I remember when I heard that album, there wasn't a song I didn't like.
Yeah.
It was an awesome album. I even got the DVD. They had a DVD that they released with it. And Sonny signed the DVD. I met him a
Nice.
few years back.
I did a POD cover set for a Halloween show once.
Nice. Yeah, but if you ever get a chance, you've probably already heard it, but I don't know if you have or not. But their first album, Snuff the Punk.
I already have it.
I've heard
I
something.
know you have it. I'm just saying you got to hear that. That's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
stuff, man. So he, David McJunkin asked a second question. He says, "Why are you such a huge Cowboys fan?" I kind of think you answered that already earlier.
Well,
but-
yeah, I kind of did. And by the way, McJunkin, man, this guy is awesome. He actually, you know what? Paul Portel, McJunkin is our number 1 fan.
there it is.
I know,
There it is.
I know McJunkin would not hesitate to do the milk
To do
challenge.
the milk challenge.
He doesn't even need to do it because I know he would do it. All right, so
You know what? You're talking about this milk challenge. Just making me want to do the milk challenge. I'm just saying.
that would be good promotion for the podcast. Like, hey,
Right.
we're gonna go live. You
We're
know,
gonna do the milk challenge.
like,
You know what?
like-
We may have to
Camera
do
fell.
the milk challenge here in a minute.
I don't know. Maybe
so, anyways,
this
So,
camera's just falling over here.
but yeah, why am I such a huge diehard
Huge Dallas Cowboys fan. Yeah.
I in the it was 1995. It's technically 96 when I was watching the Dallas Cowboys slay the Steelers in the Super Bowl 30 in Arizona, and man, the glory of those years.
Yes.
And so my dad was a huge fan. I actually didn't watch much in middle school, high school. My dad actually passed away when I was in college, and so I kind of picked up the mantle of the extreme Cowboys fan,
Right.
without the shrine,
Right.
And so I started watching it because it was like that's kind of a in no superstitious sense, but it's like this is a way my dad would still be watching, and so
Right.
I'm
That's why
watching.
you still connect with.
Right.
So it's kind of a connection,
Definitely
So,
some sentimental value
definitely
to
big,
that.
big sentimental, even if I don't actively think about it every time, but
True.
it was the foundation,
Yeah.
It's kind of like the values you grew up on. So
Yeah, it's embedded in you, man.
I was raised right, as they say.
Exactly. I mean, that's the same
He's
thing
not
with
a
me,
Texas
man.
fan.
Not everyone is blessed to be raised right.
No,
in a
not
Cowboys
everybody.
household.
That's right. Anytime somebody asks me, hey, so, what do you do for Thanksgiving? Watch the Cowboys? Oh, yeah, we eat, but we watch the Cowboys. That's just what we do, man.
That's every. I think that's pretty much every Cowboy fan. You
Yeah,
eat
for
and you
sure.
watch Cowboys
Yeah.
every time.
Every single time. All right. So we got a question from Phil Rourke.
Oh yeah,
Do you know him?
I know Phil.
Okay. So Phil wants to know, why do you like Whataburger?
So Phil is in a fellow Christian metal band,
Okay.
Bread for War, and they're great dudes. We played with them early on in our touring career, so to speak, and they're great guys. They are integral to the Chains on Chain Festival.
Awesome.
From Missouri, yeah, and we love those guys. And anyways, but we do go back and forth on the Whataburger In-n-Out debate. It's not a debate,
It's not a debate.
but in some people's eyes, it's a debate, right?
Yeah.
Debate.
So
Not a debate.
one has fries that are not made of cardboard, and the other one is In-n-Out. Right? One has a pretentious clandestine menu, and the other one is Whataburger.
I love it.
One gives you little paper hats as a gimmick.
Yep.
One is God's Burger chain.
Whataburger.
Whataburger.
And this is where people try to get me.
Okay.
They say,
You should get some
but-
Whataburger. Give us a
but-
sponsor right now.
I know, right?
But isn't In-N-Out a Christian institution with Bible verses on their stuff? And I say it is an offense to God to make disgusting food and put his inerrant word on it. Repent. All right.
I love it. I think you answered that question very well.
That's covered.
I love your Rourks, but
All right, so this is Tony Garcia. This is more of a personal challenge
okay.
that he's asking here, and the question is,
I only answer questions, not challenges.
well, okay. Bruce, will you have a base off with me?
I could. I'm actually not that good, so
I love it. I'm not that great either.
no. But yeah, I mean, hey, I'm always down for playing.
Nice.
So that'd be
you ever
fun.
do that? We'll film it and put it on the.
Cool.
Oh, we'll
on
definitely do
YouTube
that
or
or
something.
something.
Yeah, man.
Definitely for that.
All right. Next question is from V Della Rosa.
Okay.
Gaidic, I think is the last name. Says, what is your favorite hamburger?
My favorite hamburger. Now I'm gonna throw y'all for a loop.
Okay.
Probably not even a hamburger.
No, it's a hamburger.
It's not a Whataburger, is
It's
it?
not Whataburger actually. I love Whataburger for fast food.
Right.
I don't consider this fast food, but I actually love Five Guys.
Oh, dude, Five Guys
But
is
it's
bomb.
but two things. It's not strictly speaking fast food. At least I don't see any drive-through ones.
Right.
But most importantly, it's way too expensive.
It is.
Yeah, it's
I
expensive.
can
Like-
agree with that.
Like I almost want to say it's worth it, but it's not. So I'm just cheap. So
Aren't you making that Rockstar money, bro?
no.
I think
He's
Five
like,
Guys
nah.
is fine. It's just a messy burger.
Yeah. Well, okay. The burger I think is great.
Yeah.
It's not like the best in the world, maybe.
Right.
But their Cajun fries are to die for.
Oh, dude, the other thing I like about their fries is that you can order a regular and it's like enough to feed two people.
Yeah. And so here,
love that.
I'm gonna make this all make sense. So
Okay.
for Five Guys, they put way too many fries. That's another thing. They like overload the fries.
They do.
And they put in this brown paper bag, right?
Yes, they do.
Now, if you were to lick the brown paper bag, that's what In-N-Out's fries taste like. All right.
We will never get a sponsorship from In-N-Out.
Truth bombs. Truth bombs.
Nor would we want one. Actually, if
Hit
I'm
him
being
with the
honest.
truth bomb.
Oh, plug that song. I love it. All right. So the next question we have is from John Wesley Osborne. He's actually got two questions. First one is, what are your top 3 movies?
I'm not a movie watcher, to be honest.
Okay.
You know, so this is always tough for me because I'm like, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to think of a movie I actually enjoyed.
Wow.
Well, okay, that I remember, and I'm like, oh man, that's such a good movie.
Right.
Like, okay, when I was young, like stupid movies, like I liked Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. That was funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And other ones that are like not the most appropriate, but like Adam Sandler movies, like Happy Gilmore and
Yeah.
Billy Madison or something. But like I don't know if those are really like. I'm just not a movie guy, so I hate
I
to
got
say
you.
like that top 3 question.
Yeah.
It's not a top 3 question.
Yeah,
if that
I got
makes
you.
sense.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. I got you. You like Star Wars?
I don't hate Star Wars,
Okay.
He doesn't like Star Wars.
but I don't love Star Wars.
Okay. Well, if you don't hate Star Wars, we can still be friends. So we're
Yeah.
good. We're good. We're good. All right. And then his second question, this one might be easier, I think.
Yeah.
He asked, what are your top 3 genres of food?
That's also kind of hard. But I'd say Mexican food, Tex-Mex.
Yeah, there's a difference.
No, I've been to. I went to a Tex-Mex place. I was actually doing a podcast for a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I was in Dallas, so he's like, all right, what do you want to eat? I was like, oh, Mexican food.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay. So he took me to like this like actual Mexican food place.
Okay.
And it was terrible. So I was like, what is this trash? Well, it was authentic. Well, okay, I don't want authentic. I want authentic Tex-Mex.
Yeah, there you go.
So Taco Cabana like version or whatever.
Right.
Anyways, no, but so Tex-Mex or and so American food, I guess. So okay, like I don't know if it's a genre of food. So I don't think a hamburger is a genre. It's part of the larger genre of Americanized
food.
So I guess Tex-Mex, American, and I do like seafood. My wife doesn't, so I don't get to eat it a lot. So it's more of like a delicacy.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
I was a
Do
big
you like
seafood
sushi?
guy.
I do like sushi, and
Yeah.
my plan was to get some sushi after this, so we'll see. But I
nice.
don't eat it a lot because it costs too much money.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
true.
rice, mostly rice.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Yep.
Okay. This next question is from Ashley Gillian,
Okay.
and it's a good question, man. And this is, who is your biggest inspiration? Now, before you answer, I'm gonna say, I know Jesus is probably it's probably the one, but Christ aside, who is your biggest inspiration?
The Apostle Paul. I was like,
That's right.
if you can't give me Jesus, give me Paul. No kidding. Or give me Peter. No kidding. But so anyways, but yeah, non-biblical.
Non-biblical.
So you want me to be non-biblical? I see how it is.
Yeah,
No kidding.
non-biblical on this question at least. Come on, there's always somebody we look up to be,
Yeah,
besides Bible characters, or not characters, but people.
Yeah. So actually, with all of his trappings and flaws, but I do look up a lot to Martin Luther, and what he
Talking
did.
about the monk.
Yes. So and when I teach at the jail about Martin Luther, I'm always like, I'm talking about in the 1500s. I'm talking about this white German dude.
Yeah, not the one from the 60s.
Right. Not the king.
Not I Have a Dream.
Right.
Right,
So,
his
but
99
anyways,
thesis.
yeah, 95 theses, and actually taught on that at the jail and stuff. So obviously, he was part of what ended up being the Reformation, and it's not everything everyone thought it was, but some of the things that he was teaching and the things that he was bold about. He was also brash, so I can sometimes I can relate to that. He wasn't afraid to talk about stuff we would laugh at, and
Right.
If you can actually look up Lutheran insult generator, because he had a lot of enemies, and so like
Right.
he would just torch people, and you can
Nice.
actually get this website will just generate like insults that Luther had in his writings.
Right.
It's funny. So
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
so anyways, that's
Cool,
not
that's a
why.
good one.
That's not
a
why.
great one. I studied Martin Luther when I was in college.
Yeah. So if there's something on the topic of justification, which I think is one of the most important doctrines of theology, there's something known as Luther's dunghill.
Nice.
So hopefully that'll pique your interest enough to Google it.
Yeah, man, for
but
sure.
if you get R.C. Sproul's The Holiness of God, it goes over that. Or actually, no, it might be James White's The God Who Justifies. But either way, it talks about Luther's dunghill. Google it, check it out. It'll give you a little bit of something from Luther.
Cool.
So-
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is from Cam Hovis.
Okay.
He says, "What is your favorite Bible verse?"
My favorite Bible verse is Colossians 2:8, and it says, I'm going to try to make sure I don't get this wrong. Colossians 2:8 says, "See to it that no one takes you captive through empty deception and philosophy according to the elementary principles of this world rather than according to Christ." I think I messed up something there, but it's Colossians 2:8.
Cool.
And it basically talks about how we're called to not be captive. It's active. So we're not going to let ourselves be dragged away by philosophy, the traditions of men that are based on the elementary principles of the world rather than according to Christ. So it's basically saying, make Christ your foundation and do not be captivated and led astray and all this stuff by the world and philosophies, etc. So that's when people like, I'm not a signature guy. I don't love signing things because I'm nobody. But
Right.
when people want it, I'll sign something. I'll put Colossians 2:8 on it.
Cool.
That's what matters.
Cool. All right. Next question is from Jeffrey Aguapong.
Okay.
I guess. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, really. Similar to a question that was asked earlier, but the earlier question about the bands was metal bands.
Right.
This question says, what 5 bands, not metal, not rock, not just bands, what 5 bands have had the biggest impact on you?
That's a tough question.
So probably number one was Project 86.
Okay.
Because, when I really started listening to their lyrics, I really connected with them. It was a sad part of my life. Not that life was terrible, but I was sad about things, and it was a way to relate, but it had a Christian message, and so I really got behind it. I'd say Living Sacrifice was also a big influence.
Oh, great band.
We're talking about influential bands, right?
Yeah, what most
So,
influential to you?
Living Sacrifice was the big one. Just like they were just extreme, next level, but focused on Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm trying to think of not just metal. So I don't know anyone who would know this guy, but there's this artist. He's passed away since, but his name is Jason Molina. He had various projects called, one was Songs of Ohio, another one was called Magnolia Electric Company, Pyramid Electric Company, and then just Jason Molina. Anyways, but it was more like indie acoustic, kind of somber stuff. But I just had this like phase where that's all I was listening to. And anyways, so not Christian necessarily, but
Right.
Man, it's not that I'm drawing a blank, but I want to be accurate in what's like my top stuff. And as weird as it is, video game music,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Koji Kondo, the Super NES, like Nintendo songs. So like
Yeah.
the overworld theme for like The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is
Right.
like, and actually I actually recorded a version of it that's super metal back in the
Nice.
day. Mega Man X, every stage is just perfection,
Nice.
So there's bands that cover video game music like Power Glove and
Right.
Descendants of Erdrick, and there's just a bunch of them now.
Yeah.
But when they cover that, it's just so.
Yeah.
Video game music actually is just because it connects like some nostalgia with like riffs. I don't know if that's influential, but it's something that's just I've always been all about that,
Yeah.
And then I got to give you one more. I guess kind of recently it would be this band called Christafari. They're like
I've heard of Christopher. Yeah.
like
They've been around for a long time.
Christian reggae band, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that band.
but like I love it,
Yeah,
Like,
oh, heck yeah.
I would consider being in a Christian reggae band,
Nice.
but it's just because like it's just good music,
Yeah.
Like the lyrics may be too cheesy or upfront for some people, but I
Right.
think they're awesome. So
Right. Reggae is very bass driven too, man. You got to
Yeah.
have that groove for
Yeah.
good reggae.
and,
so
and
yeah.
so I already gave 5, but like the thing I just realized the thing I listen to most is just 70s, 80s funk and like disco. Like seriously.
Oh, yeah?
That's what my dad listened to, so that's why I
Wow,
listen to
that's
it.
awesome.
And so another kind of nostalgic thing and connection with my dad, but it's like my most listened to playlist says jams, and it's just like
Nice. Nice.
all the oldies and goodies.
So you got like P Funk up in there and Earth, Wind and Fire and all
Earth,
that.
Wind and Fire for sure.
Yeah.
I got Bee Gees, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Village People.
Parliament Funkadelic.
Yeah, Parliament right there. Yep, Peter Brown, Ohio Players.
Nice.
But he also had some rock stuff in here too. But
Yeah.
it's just James Brown.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Okay, so Chris Hernandez asked, do your students ever go to your shows?
That's funny. I think he knows. But no, because I'm not. I think you may have asked this earlier, but I don't promote my band.
Right.
I'm not trying to. I don't know if that would get me in trouble, and I also try to, for the sake of professionalism, not lower myself, and not in a negative way, but not try to be overly like, hey, come check out, come to see me outside of school,
Right,
in
right.
this bar setting, like,
Right.
I don't ever want to be misinterpreted.
Yeah,
Or,
exactly.
So
Especially nowadays.
right.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm definitely not a self promoter, but
Yeah.
some kids eventually figure it out. Or sometimes a kid will be like jamming out, and I can see he's like upset, and he's like listening to, like, I had this kid who literally like his face was all scowled up. He was just listening to metal,
Right.
You know, sometimes I'll joke with them like, how can you understand what they're saying? Why do you listen to metal? You know, just so they'll think I'm like a dumb adult, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But then sometimes I'll be like, hey, let me see your phone, and I'll put on Relent.
Yeah.
I won't tell them I'm in the band.
Right.
See what I'm like. Oh, what'd you think of that? They're like, oh, I like it. Yeah. And so then I might be like, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll just like do a tiny bit of research and find out, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not, you know, I try to use that as leverage for like, hey, I get it. I listen to that music too.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm here, like, but let's also do some math, you know?
Right.
So anyways.
Right.
But yeah, so.
That's cool.
So I have had students come to my shows, but yeah, I'm not trying to because I'm trying to keep it profesh.
Right.
So,
of course. So 4-string or 5-string?
I mean, for most of my career, but for most of my music journey, I've been playing 4-string. So
4-string, nice.
I do prefer that. I have a Fender Aerodyne jazz bass with jazz and precision pickups. That's been my axe forever. But you know, with Relent, it's lower. So we so I've been playing 5-string. But I still get like when I try to play a 5-string at church, like I'm like it messes me up.
Right.
I'm just so
Gotcha.
4-string.
Yeah.
So
pick or no pick.
And so I was taught, and you know that finger just like no pick, but with metal it's pick. You know, especially for Surrendered because it's just like open chug.
Yeah.
So you can go crazy with it, but you gotta get that tugun. It's gotta have that precision. So
yeah. So that's funny. When my wife hears this, she's gonna laugh because my wife's a bass player.
Right.
And she was my bass player when I had my metal band Godspell.
Right. Well, and I know there's techniques to achieve that, but I'm
yeah, she was all about playing with fingers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. She was like, you gonna play with a pick? Nah. Steve, do you see Steve Harris play with a pick? Like, calm down. Yeah, she's very traditionalist when it comes to bass.
And I respect that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the bass that you play in Relent? Is it the Fender?
So it's no. So I was playing on this Ibanez.
Nice.
But and I couldn't even tell you much about that Ibanez. Technically wasn't mine, but
Right.
I've been playing on a oh my gosh, a Warwick.
See, I thought that looked like a Warwick. I saw the headstock.
Yeah, it's a Warwick double buck Corvette. So it's nice, you know. I'm not a big gear nerd or you know,
me neither.
specs on all that stuff, but it's been a solid bass and it's done what I wanted it to do, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big gear nut either. I usually go to my my friend Jose, who I play with in Judge Not, because I just recently moved from drums to rhythm guitar, and I'm usually like, what do I need? Yeah. You know, I mean, I ended up getting a guitar from my father-in-law a couple Christmases ago. It was an Ibanez, and so I was like, what do I need? And so he's like, hey, yeah, you need this processor. Just get this. And so like I play with a Pod Go.
Okay.
And I don't have an amp. It's just a Pod Go, plug direct, and you're good to go. And it's got everything you need. Nice. Do you use amp or do you go direct?
Yeah. The band, we are all of the old guard. That's like we have our whole setup,
right?
And we're not digital, but we're trying to go that route. You know?
Okay.
But yeah, so I got an Ampeg 610 cab with a SVT3 Pro head. So
nice.
All Ampeg of that. And then my pedals I use are Dark Glass B7K, I believe, microtubes, and I have a Sans amp microtubes, and then I have a big muff fuzz pedal.
Nice.
So that's what I use right now. But yeah, we'll see what the future holds.
Cool.
But I think in answering all these questions, when I went live in the room, Joe, aka Zeke, he came on and asked like, you know, what basses have I had? So my first bass was a Squier P bass, you know, just everyone's starter bass.
Right.
My second bass was a Sunburst Washburn. That was a little bit of an upgrade. And then I went to the Fender Aerodyne jazz bass.
Nice.
And then now I've got this, you know, Warwick. So those are my four basses, and the best one has probably been, I think it's got to be the Warwick.
Yeah.
Though I love my Fender Aerodyne jazz bass. And
Warwicks are those are monster, man.
Yeah.
Monsters. Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
And then he also asked about like which bass have I played that's like the best, but I just don't go and play other basses. I'm just like I'm content with what I got, you know.
Yeah.
So,
to you, it's not even a question of best. It's just what fits you.
Yeah, for me, if it works, cool. Like maybe like, you know, adjust the tone, get that in. But if I got a working tool or
Yeah.
sword, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
if that part's good, then I'm set for a while because there's so much money you can spend that
Yeah.
I'm not there.
Yeah, exactly. Like back when I was in Godspell, I had it was a Dean Dimeflage.
Oh yeah.
Right, because I was a Dimebag Darrell fan.
Yeah.
And so I got the Dimeflage. Well, the action on it was perfect for because I was a rhythm player. I'm not a lead player. I just rhythm. Action was great. When I'd palm mute, everything, the positioning was perfect. Hard times came after the band and stuff. I lost the guitar. So now this Ibanez I have, I love it. I do. But if I'm being honest, it still doesn't have that good fit for me, So I am looking in the future, again, after this whole house thing, of probably getting something different. And I'm going to go back to Dean, honestly, because Dean was just it just fit, you know what I mean? And I think that's for every musician. You got to find the equipment, the tool that's going to fit you the best, So no, that's awesome, man. So winding down here now as we're coming to the end of our show.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a fun show too, by the way.
Sure has.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. And we've learned a lot about you, Bruce. Is there anything at all, just to kind of sum things up, be it the message that you want Relent, what is it that you're wanting people to know that are listening right now? Because as I told you the other day, remember, our audience is all over the world. So this is your opportunity. This is your platform to share briefly. What is the thing that you would want the world to know?
Yeah, and so for me, as you know, my passion is the gospel, and that starts with the fact that there is a God. There's a God we know by nature. Psalm 19:1 says that the heavens declare the glory of God, and Romans 1 corroborates that, saying that men know that there exists a God and they are without excuse. And so the order of creation begs the creator that exists. And so we know this by nature, whether we acknowledge it or not. It says that we suppress the truth and unrighteousness. And so those who do not repent and believe in Jesus, it's a suppression of that truth. And so all that to say, there's a holy God, holy, righteous judge, and we have been created and we rebel against him. We follow after our first father, Adam, and in Adam all die, it says in 2 Corinthians. And so as rebel children, we are at enmity with God. We're children of wrath. We only do the desires of our heart, which are evil continually. And because that's our sorry state, we, like it says in Romans 3:23, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And Romans 6:23 says the wages of sin is death. And so we are on the fast track to the separation of ourselves from God's love, but the application of God's holy, righteous judgment. And so with that being said, that is our state apart from Jesus Christ. But God did not leave us in that state. In history, Jesus Christ entered into creation. So Jesus is present at creation, John 1:1. He is actively creating. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And it says all things came into being through him. And so that Word is Jesus Christ, eternally God, the second person of the Trinity. He took on flesh in all humility, like Philippians 2 speaks of, that he emptied himself, not of being God, but his divine prerogatives. And he took on the form of a doulos, the Greek word for a bondservant. And in doing so, he, as a man with a full second nature, is fully God, fully man, Jesus Christ lived the perfect life, the life that was required to us by the law, the revealed will of God that was incumbent on our lives to follow, that we fall short of, we rebel against, and we hate by our actions. He, though we were at war with God, he declared peace. It's as if two nations were at war, and the more powerful nation could crush the weaker one, but declares peace. And that's what God does with us. It says in Romans 5:1, therefore having been justified by faith, we have peace with God. So it's not by striving, it's not by works, it's not by religious rituals, it's by faith and faith alone in Jesus Christ. And so what Jesus did, that he lived that perfect life in his active obedience, and he died the sacrificial death in his passive obedience. And by his work, not by our works, by the work of Jesus Christ, we can have salvation. We can be found in him on Judgment Day. And if we are in Christ, we are a new creation. And when God looks at us, he does not see the sinner that we were and continue to take part in, so to speak, but he sees Jesus Christ. In 2 Corinthians 5:21, it says, God, the Father, made him, Jesus, who knew no sin, to become sin so that we might become the righteousness of God. And so when God looks at us, he doesn't see our sin, he doesn't see our life, but he sees the perfect obedience of Jesus Christ and the sacrificial death that satisfied his wrath, that propitiated all that needed to be done. And so that is the gospel. The gospel is not about man, it's about God. The good news that Jesus Christ entered into creation. And that gospel is triune. The Father sends the Son, the Father punishes the Son in our place, and the Son takes that willingly, and he applies that atonement to our lives, and he sends the Holy Spirit to indwell us as a down payment for our resurrection, the same resurrection that Jesus was resurrected with, that he on the third day did not stay dead, but he vindicated his message by rising from the dead, and by rising from the dead, defeated death. And so defeating death in our lives, all those who would believe in Jesus Christ. And so that's the gospel. The gospel, that's the one thing that I want everyone to know. And my prayer is that humbly, that everyone who hears this message would bow the knee in faith and repentance to Jesus Christ, because he is a perfect Savior to anyone who would believe. And that you will find yourself in him whole and complete. And that at the final day, there would be no judgment on you, and that you would be in paradise with him for all eternity, worshiping him and glorifying the one that will surpass all desires of this life. And so, to bring it back down in a less serious way, it'd be like the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl every day. It'd be better than that. It'd be better than a Whataburger every day. It'd be better than your podcast getting number one for the rest of your life. It's about, man, God's not fulfilling our desires, but he is exceeding the expectations of any desire we would ever have.
That's right.
For all eternity. And so
that's right.
That's the good news about Jesus Christ.
And bottom line is, life without Jesus, and not having Jesus in your life would be like having to eat In-N-Out every day.
Yes.
It's just not.
It's Hades.
Yes.
No, it's worse. It's Tartarus. It's the lowest depths of hell.
Yes, it is. It is. I have to completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Oh man, that was awesome. That was. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I mean that literally. I probably couldn't have said it better. That was great.
That was really good.
Yeah. So, coming to the end of the podcast, I realized that the one thing we were going to talk about, it just didn't come up. But that's fine. I love it. This is what I've said from the beginning. The way we do our podcast is we have a conversation and we just let it flow how it's going to flow.
That's right.
But you did listen to our series that we had last month.
Oh, yeah.
With the Will's nieces, and basically our teenage series. Just real briefly, real quick, what was your take on that?
It was not too foreign to, I guess, what I'm
because you're a teacher.
Yeah,
Exactly.
What piqued my interest, obviously, probably the most, is the talk about faith, and and that just reinforces what I've always said, is that it's different when it's yours. And I heard that in a sermon once, and it's
wow, I never heard that one before.
Faith is different when it's yours. So, of course, as parents, you're discipling your kids, you're leading them in the way of everlasting life. You're teaching them to fear the Lord, which is the beginning of knowledge, and all these things. And children follow, right?
Yeah.
And they're following faithfully, so to speak, but they're doing it for mom and dad. You know? And so at some point, it's not for your parents, it's for yourself. It's different when it's yours. And the analogy is like a rental car. Mm-hmm. When you get a rental car, you drive it into the dirt, and doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when you get your own set of wheels, it's different when it's yours. And that's just an analogy, but that's the idea, that your faith, when it's your own, that's when it's real. And, and it's that transition, and it's, it's tough to hear, hey, I'm an atheist now, or hey, I don't really believe it, or we just do it. We're just kind of basically nominalism. Right. But it takes familial discipleship for that to happen. So that's not a blame game. I'm not saying, it's the parents' fault, but I'm saying, like, that's the foundation. That's how it's built. And then, of course, it is God who does it.
Of course.
We are not promised anything with our children.
Yeah.
But we do know, by and large, when we disciple them, plant those seeds, that's what the Holy Spirit can use. And so,
amen, man.
Trust God with that. And so, yeah.
Awesome.
But I know there was like a lot of stuff said. So, but that was one little thing.
No, that's great. That's great. Wow, man, this has been an awesome podcast. Lots of great information, man. We really got to know you, Bruce. I thank you so much for taking the time to come all the way over here and do this podcast with us. Really, really appreciate it. I highly encourage each and every one of you that are listening right now. if you have iTunes, Spotify, I mean, go and search Relent. You guys are not going to be sorry. These guys, their music is awesome. It's if you love that heavy kind of 90s like Il Nino type, you know, kind of stuff where you got a little bit of that rapping in there, but it's also got those heavy riffs. This is a band you need to check out. And the best part of it is they glorify God with their music and with their lyrics, and it's amazing. So go check them out. You can also find them on YouTube. They have their music video up for the song Rise, right? That's the song. And they also have you guys got a lyric video right now for Low, right? So go and check them out. And you guys are going to be playing in San Antonio here real soon, right?
In October. That's the end of Days Fest.
The end of Days Fest, right.
Yeah.
So in October, if you guys can make it, we'll make sure to be promoting it on our page as well on our social media. So you can go check these guys out live. I know I'm already making plans to be there myself.
Yeah.
Because I want to go jam with you guys.
Yeah.
So real quick, man, tell the people where they can find you on their social medias, on the websites, whatever it is.
When it comes to Relent, you can just search Relent. I mean, I don't remember all the tags, to be honest.
Right.
And when it comes to me, my name's Bruce Gonzales. You can
Bad member.
You can look for me. I'm also not trying to get like. That's the one thing I get to avoid. Miggy gets like a million friend requests, and I don't. I'm fine. I like to blend in with. So
there you go.
But yeah, if you, I'd love to be your friend on social media. If I'm not already, that's great.
Yeah.
We can talk. All that stuff. So. All that to say,
Cool, man. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. Would love to have you back, man. I actually honestly would love to bring you back when we get into some more discussions about other things, more about the gospel, maybe even a little bit of more of the controversial subjects, and stuff like that. Not so much just the music thing, but would love to have your input on some of that maybe in the future.
Sure.
And maybe one day we'll bring you back. We can bring Miggy too or something like that. Or
the whole band would be
or
dope.
Gaston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the whole band, man, and do a podcast with all you guys. That would be great too. But whatever y'all are down for, we're down for. So, but for today, we really appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
do.
so
We
very
really do.
much. Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
Gotta
So, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode. What's up, Will?
I want to end the show differently.
Okay. So, do you want me to go ahead and just turn it over to you now?
No, you can just do what you're gonna do. But at the end, we're gonna end with our favorite song.
Oh, yeah, we got to play that. Yeah,
we have to. We just have to.
Have to. Yeah. So anyway, just remember, we got next week. We're gonna have
Supposed to be Ryan.
Still
trying to work on that.
who wasn't here last week when we had to go off the cuff.
Off the cuff is politics. But
Yeah. And have I gotten any hate mail, by the way?
I haven't seen any hate mail from you.
Really?
That's a good thing.
I'm surprised.
But of course, I haven't seen a lot of I haven't seen the numbers as hot as they have been. So
I got you. I'm surprised that you haven't gotten any hate mail. I was a little. Okay, that's fine. So, hey, did you hear that Biden announced his vice presidential candidate?
All right, thanks for the show. Thanks for the show.
Anyway, I'm not going to go there. I'm just messing around. I like to make Will squirm.
I killed him real quick.
All right. So anyway, we're so happy that you listened to this episode. Go check out Relent's music.
Definitely.
And check them out on the social medias. Until next time, I am Rob T.
I'm Big Will.
And you've been listening to
What's on My Mind.